Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ebi Weime, and today I'd like to talk to you about reasons why I stopped using boom pads. They look pretty disgusting, huh? Well, don't worry, this is not real blood. I promise, it is not real blood. It is food color. Hey, it's food color, so it's not real blood. But anyways, yeah, now that I'm actually looking at it, they are quite disgusting. It wasn't part of my reasons why I stopped, but now that I'm seeing it, yeah. No. So anyways, so reason number one why I stopped using pads is, number one, the smell. The smell used to be so terrible. And I remember, like, you know, when you're growing up in Africa, so it's very hot. And I was learning, I remember the first time when I started my period, it was back, not the first time, but usually in high school, because that's when I really started getting my periods, was when I was schooling back in Nyanza. And it was so hot. It was extremely hot. And now you can imagine you're having your pubic hair and you're sweating, and then you're having your period. It was awful. And I used to think that every time a woman had a period, there has to be a smell. Until I started using menstrual cups, then I realized, oh, actually period blood does not smell. The reason why your period is smelling is because you're using culprit number one, a pad. There you go, a pad. That's the reason why it's smelling, and that is why I stopped using pads. Two, pads, they were always smelling like diapers. They're always feeling like diapers. Like, the moment you wear a pad, I used to feel so imprisoned. Like, you have to sit in a certain position because you're always worried that maybe you're leaking and you need to check. We know that brand, we see you with your check. Period should not be that uncomfortable, really. It should not be every time I wear a pad, I feel like I'm wearing a diaper. It used to be so imprisoning. I cannot, I mean, people who still use pads, you can tell us, but it feels so, like, it makes you feel bad for being a woman, and it makes you hate having your period, and that should not be the case. A period should be a time where you celebrate being a woman, because hey, only us can get periods, and it should be a good thing. It shouldn't be a bad thing. Anyways, my next reason was getting rash and pimples. I mean, if you've watched my previous videos, I've been talking about this all the time. They're now putting chemicals in pads, so you'd always be getting rashes and pimples and irritations and wanting to scratch all the time. Oh God. I remember those days, and I'm like, just thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I am off that. Like, I really cannot go back to pads. Okay, no, I cannot. Siwezi, I cannot do it. Like, just it was so uncomfortable, and then getting all those little blisters that you get. Women who use pads, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So don't look at me like that. You know you get them when you're using your pads. So yeah, that was another reason why I stopped using pads. And then the other thing is, again, it's costly. I mean, you don't, for people who cannot afford pads, I mean, thank God for those who are lucky enough to just afford pads every month. And I mean, I am grateful for that. But there are also people who are out there, like, affording 150 every month. It is not cheap. And that's why we have all these organizations asking people to donate money for pads and to keep a girl in school. It is a very expensive affair. And I was doing the math, and in 1 year, you would have spent 1,800 shillings on pads alone. We're not even putting panty liners and all that. And we're considering someone who's not heavy, someone who's just average. You're spending 150. In a year, that's 1,800. In 10 years, the lifespan of a cup, that would be 18,000 Kenyan shillings. Imagine how much you'd be doing with 18k. So yeah, it was costly, and I was just buying it over and over again. No, not for me. Also, it's very inconveniencing. I mean, every time you take out a pad, now you have to look at somewhere to throw, and you're in a public bathroom. And then don't remind me of those bins that they have in public places. You know those little bins that they have in toilets where you can throw out your pad? I mean, thank God these days some of them are like automatic, so you don't have to touch that little thingy and throw in your pad. But sorry about that, guys. Jumia was giving me an update on something, and then my phone just went, yeah. Anyways, so I was talking about those disgusting bins, in public places. Like, you have to touch it, you know. And then when you're throwing it in, you find someone else who had already thrown in their pad, or they'd already thrown in their tampon, and it's no. I was just, every time I would think that I have to touch those disgusting bins, I would hate having my period. And now that I'm using a cup, I always see those bins and I'm like, bye, I am never touching you again, ever in my life. I am never touching you. So it's so liberating knowing that I don't have to deal with somebody else's pad. I mean, it's already enough that I'm dealing with my own menses. Now I have to deal with somebody else's. No, that is just not happening. And finally, leaking. Oh my God. I mean, they always say these pads have wings and they have parachutes and whatever it is that they call them, but they'd always leak. They'd always leak. That's why they're like in school, especially when girls would have their period, they'd always have to tie around the sweater, because whether or not you're leaking, you're not sure, and you do not want to risk it, you know. So you'd always be telling your classmate, like, could you just check? Could you just check? You know, check. You know where I'm going with this. Could you just check that I'm not leaking? Could you just check that this and that? Like, it's like being in a prison. Honestly, women who still use their pads, I don't know how you do it. I mean, kudos. I did it for not for 29 years, because I haven't been bleeding for 29 years, but I have done it for quite some time. And the moment I discovered the Grace Cup, I was just like, oh no more pads for me. Anyways, I'm sure there are other reasons why people have stopped using pads. Please leave them in the comment section below. Let's talk about this. In my next videos, I'm going to talk about tampons. So when I moved from pads, I went to tampons. I did not go to cups because I did not know that cups existed. So I moved from pads because I just could not handle it, and then I moved over to tampons. So I'll see you in the next video where I will tell you why I moved to tampons and why I stopped using tampons. See you in the next video. Bye. Please, by the way,